So, today I think we need to talk about something that's been going around the gaming news and a lot of our conversations, and that's exclusive video games. But let's not talk about the rumors and the headlines today. Instead, I want to talk about the bigger picture. What do exclusive games actually mean for us, the gamers? It often feels like that as gamers, we accept the narrative of exclusives being a win for us. But if we really think about it, who actually benefits from exclusives? First, obviously, we have the companies that sell the consoles. The exclusive games tempt people to buy their new box. Then there is the media and influencers who really just care that they can ramp up the console war for clicks with each exclusive release and announcement. These companies, media personalities, and influencers, they're not our friends. They're looking out for themselves. Their sole goal is to make money. And there isn't anything wrong with that. That's the reality of the world that we live in. But we as gamers should not feed into that and do the work for multi-billion-dollar companies. And I'm not saying that I'm not partially at fault either. Take my living room, for example. I have a PS5, an Xbox Series X, a Switch, and a nice gaming PC all hooked up to my TV. And all of this is because I want to play certain exclusive games. I bought the PS5 because I wanted to play Ratchet and Clank, even though the Xbox is my preferred platform. This is especially weird when the hardware for the PS5, the Xbox Series X, and my PC, in many ways, are all remarkably similar in power, and they're even all x86 based. So, why did I feel like I had to spend extra on a console just for a handful of games? Why, as a gaming community, are we okay with this? We are pushed to spend more on another console that is likely very similar to the console that it's going to be sitting next to underneath that TV. And for what? So the company that made the console can get their 30% cut of other games I buy? That doesn't help me. However, it is really important to recognize a major potential benefit of exclusives for gamers, and that's competition. Competition in the console market brings innovation, helps keep prices in check, and keeps companies in check so they don't engage in other forms of anti consumer behavior. Yes, it is true that these companies push for better and better games to compete, but we shouldn't pretend that third party publishers don't exist and often put out their own innovative games. So, while exclusives do drive this competition, relying on them introduces a dilemma. This forces a choice between supporting anti consumer exclusivity practices or risking a consolidated market that has other anti consumer practices. Ideally, the market would focus on features, services, and the user experience rather than exclusive games. And the thing is, we know that this is viable. When we look at the PC market, graphics cards, processors, and other things related to PC gaming all sell on the merits of the hardware itself, instead of something arbitrary like exclusive games. And you know that if NVIDIA tried to have an exclusive game, exclusive features like ray tracing, sure, but truly exclusive games, they would be dragged through the mud and most likely boycotted. The recent court case around Microsoft's acquisition of Activision only shows these concerns. It is clear that the industry is struggling with the implications of exclusive games. But what I really don't understand about this, PC players have caused a major uproar about the idea of games being exclusive to different PC stores other than Steam. And you don't even need to pay anything to use these other stores like Epic. They're free to download. So clearly, we understand the harm exclusivity does to us. But why do we advocate for it on consoles? Something that is not free. You have to spend $500 on something that you probably didn't want or need in the first place. A common argument that I see is, well, exclusives sell consoles. Great. Why do I care? Seriously, and I'm asking genuinely, why should I care? So third party developers support that hardware? That's valid, but there isn't a technical reason that games can't target PC, the PS5, and the Xbox. Yes, I do know that there will be additional QA and engineering work, but the platforms are more similar than they've ever been in the past. And again, why are we ignoring that third party publishers exist that target all of these platforms? And they already target PC, which has far more variants than a console would. To me, if developers are not targeting a platform that is still selling well, even if it isn't first, that is a problem with the industry, not something that we as consumers should take ownership of and push for anti consumer behaviors to fix. Also, think about what it is that you're saying when you say exclusive sell consoles. You are basically saying that the hardware doesn't matter, that if your favorite franchise was locked to a specific console, that you would buy that console no matter what, even if that console was severely underpowered, missing major features, or is just nearly identical to what you already have. And it isn't like this is a hypothetical. Look at Nintendo, often selling lower powered hardware that is also missing major quality of life features, particularly around online play. And for the record, I love my Switch, but a lot of that is because of the games I can play on it, when instead I could be using my Steam Deck. Those games like Breath of the Wild convinced me to get the Switch that I shouldn't have needed to get in the first place. So I'm not really sure if we have competition in the console space like we think we do. And why would they really compete? Especially in the same way that AMD and NVIDIA or AMD and Intel compete on PC hardware. If they know that you're going to buy it anyways because the games are so compelling. So I keep saying that it's just a $500 box. But in reality, it's not just that. That's before you get into the other things that you may need to pay for, like more controllers, online play, or whatever other accessories you think you need. All potentially because you wanted to play one game. And then there's the psychological side that you're going to want to justify that purchase of a box you didn't really want. So you're going to buy more first party games that you may or may not really enjoy, but you feel like you need to get the most out of your purchase. That isn't a good thing. I know that there are a few of you that are already typing a few very specific responses that I've been getting on Twitter these last few days. Things like exclusive cell consoles, which I've already talked about, but I know what the current reality is. We all know what the current reality is. You don't need to continue to repeat what the current situation is as an argument against change. And I keep seeing exclusivity gives us competition, which, again, as I've already talked about, I'm not sure it really does. Finally, something that I've only kind of touched on so far is people saying, well, it's been this way for 20 plus years. And you're right, but you're actually saying something else without realizing what it is you're saying. You're acknowledging that the industry has been a certain way and has worked. I guess you could call it that because the industry has survived. And that's an important thing. But 20 years is a long time. Just because it's been that way for so long doesn't mean we can't want better for ourselves. It's been a certain way for so long that we've become complacent in accepting the status quo without questioning who it really benefits. So, where does this leave us? If you made it to this point in the video, I hope that something I've said so far resonated with you. At this point, we are well aware of the rumors around Xbox, and we have what Sony has recently said. By the time you watch this video, most likely we're going to have a statement from Xbox. But whether or not Xbox actually goes fully multi platform, my opinion on exclusives is the same. A world where only one console manufacturer goes multi platform could be troubling. The only way that as gamers we can have a better market for us is that if they all do. And I fully recognize that it is an uphill battle. These companies don't want to do this. But we are already seeing the signs of the need for exclusivity changing, with Sony announcing that they want to do more releases on PC, possibly day of release. So I think that we need to reevaluate our relationship with the console makers. We shouldn't just accept that exclusives are good for us. At the end of the day, we are gamers. We have built amazing, thriving communities around the games that we love, but we're letting the hardware we own divide us. I said in the beginning that I want to talk about this, and I really do. So let me know in the comments what you think about exclusives and whether they benefit or hurt you. I want to keep this conversation going, and I will try to reply to every comment. But remember, we don't benefit from the continued console war discussion. So let's keep that out of this.